What up, witches, and welcome to Witchin and Bitchin, a podcast. I'm your host, Darren.
And I'm Vicky. How are you all today? I hope you're doing really, really well. See, I did it.
It's come back. It's always this high pitch. I hope you did really, really well.
I don't know what it is. It just makes me go really high when I don't know.
No, I love it. So, listeners, you're up for a real treat today. So, Amber Lee Lyons is your new spiritual BFF who keeps it zen as fuck while supporting you to balance your chakras and live your best life. The founder of Chakra Girl Co, a platform dedicated to inspiring modern women to embrace their spirituality while being their authentic and Gucci bag loving selves. Amber Lee's podcast, Chakra Girl Radio, gives her listeners an inside look at the chaos, drama, and happenings that take place between the meditations when you're living a fast-paced life. Oh my God, that resonates so much with me. Amber Lee is obsessed with her mission to bring chakra balancing to the masses in a fun, approachable, and armpit shaving friendly way. While living this mission, she has attracted the most inspiring group of women that build each other up instead of tearing each other down. She enjoys wine, pretty much every food on the planet, and travel, and is building her chakra empire one meditation at a time. Having been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, Bustle, Society Gal, and Good Morning La La Land, where she got to share her story. So please welcome your new spiritual BFF, Amber Lee Lyons.
Thanks for having me.
Yay. Thank you so much for being here.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes, that's it. We've been looking forward to it for ages. It's so good. I'm so glad it's finally here. So how are you feeling? How are you?
I'm great. I just did like an infrared sauna, so I'm kind of here and kind of on a different planet, but I'm feeling good.
That in between space.
In between space, yes.
I love it too, because I think actually, quote me if I'm wrong, Vicky, but I'm pretty sure that you're our first Canadian guest.
Oh, yes, I think so.
First ever Canadian. Shout out to everyone in BC, Vancouver.
Yes. Yes.
So wait, hang on. Wait, being in BC, so that means like you're in the middle of winter, but for you guys, it's never really that cold on the West Coast.
No, it's like it gets to like 0 a few times, or like 4. Like it's not crazy. Like if we drive, there are different areas in BC that are colder, but in Vancouver, it never gets too bad.
Yeah, that's why when we went to Canada, like I'm very much a Vancouver boy. Like Vancouver's totally my vibe, whereas my husband Chris is very much a Toronto guy. And then we found that Montreal was like a happy medium.
Okay.
Neither of us would want to go to Montreal in the winter because that's just too fucking cold.
No. -40. Like I don't know how that even exists.
Oh, is it?
No.
Like what is that?
Like as soon as you go minus, my brain just goes,
like, too cold.
So like just obviously touching on obviously we're recording this during the pandemic. Like how has it actually been for you guys in BC? Because I've got some friends in Ontario. I know they're back into lockdown. Has it been bad for you guys or?
I mean, it's not terrible. Our restaurants are open. Obviously we have to wear masks and everything, but yeah, we had like a little bit of a lockdown like in the beginning. We're not really supposed to be like seeing people, but like malls are open and it's not too bad. But we did just like, apparently we're told there's like no, if you have like any travel plans, like cancel them now, and there's like new rules coming in, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because I know you like to travel to LA a fair bit, right? So
I was going every 6 weeks and I haven't been. I didn't go all of 2020, so
yeah.
Wow.
It's such a new world that we're living in.
It really is.
I guess it's been interesting. Like Vicky and I recently did an episode about 2020 reflections because I know a lot of my friends were like, fuck you 2020 and just totally dissing it. Whereas I was like, oh no, I loved 2020. I found myself. I was literally like, where's Wally or where's Waldo? I found myself and like, it's just like, I'm living my new best life. Like,
I agree. And I feel like it was a shake up and a shake out. Like for the people who are still kind of like in a linear third dimensional consciousness, they created a reality of chaos and a lot of sad stuff happened, unfortunately. For people who have done a lot of healing and have ascended consciousness, their reality is just totally different. There's literally 2 different realities and dimensions happening on this planet right now. And yeah, I mean, I had a great year. Like I started working out at home. I lost 15 pounds. I learned how to cook.
Wow.
That's awesome.
There was a lot of good things.
I love it. I absolutely
love
love it. So we decided we'd kind of do to you what you tend to
Yes.
do to all your guests on your show.
Yeah.
So we'll be posting the links for anyone that's watching this on YouTube or listening to us
Yeah.
on all your major platforms. Like we'll be popping some links to Chakra Girl Radio into the post. So just scroll down, you'll be able to see that. So we're going to do some quick fire questions. So Vicky, do you want to take over here?
Yes.
Put you in the hot seat.
I know. It's exciting. I love this sort of stuff. Okay. First one. What is your morning ritual?
Okay. So the things that I do without fail, it's always a little bit different, but every single day, like the second I wake up, I bring my energy from my head into my heart. And that's just a way of like getting into my body. And if I'm having a hard time doing that, I'll think about like my dog or my husband or just like things that make me happy. And it just like brings that energy in there. And then I don't go straight. Sometimes I go straight to my altar. Depends like who wakes up, my husband or myself, but usually it's him. I like my sleep. So like if he's already awake, I'll go and we'll drink coffee together. We have these like 2 little chairs that like overlook the water, and we like we'll drink coffee there. Which I mean, coffee, that's not spiritual, like whatever. Yeah, I drink coffee.
I'm from Melbourne, so we are like the most bougiest coffee snobs in all of Australia. I'm with you.
So then I will sit at my altar and I'll connect my energy into the earth. So I'll like anchor my energy from my heart into the center of the earth. And then I'll bring the energy of the earth into my heart. And then from there, I'll shoot the energy up to the 12th dimension. And then I'll receive energy from the cosmos down through my crown chakra, clearing all my chakras. And then I breathe more love into my heart and then create an auric field, clear the auric field, and then put a layer of protection around the auric field. So it's a vibe. And sometimes I'll
This is so good.
I love it.
And I'll drink like a shit ton of water as well. So before coffee, I always have like at least like a half a liter to a liter of water before I have my coffee. And then I usually do some kind of tapping or like pull a card, just whatever I feel like doing. Journaling, maybe, just whatever I want to do to add it in there. And then like some kind of like workout usually works its way in there as well.
That's
awesome.
Beautiful. I love that. That's so beautiful. What would be your favorite crystal that you're working with at the moment?
So I'm like, okay, so I have like a Lemurian quartz. Do you guys know
yes.
how much about
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit, but for our viewers and listeners, like,
so
go for it.
Like an Atlantis vibe, like an old, an old continent that existed on the planet Earth, but when, before the humans that we know existed. So it was like when we were fifth dimensional, all like fifth to sixth dimensional beings. There was, this beautiful place. We lived, like some people had existences there. I definitely had some kind of incarnation there. So I have a piece of quartz from that time. And I'll like put it in my hand and I can I swear I can feel it like pulsing energy through my body. It brings memories back of that time and messages and downloads. So that is, I hold on to that almost every morning now in my meditation.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I've got a couple of Lemurians as well. I love them. There's a whole different, I was going to say there's a whole different energy to them than just a general quartz.
Now I have FOMO because I have zero.
Well, Vicky, you look Lemurian too. Like there's like a distinct look. Like you and I both have similar features, like a rounder face, and like we have like similar, and that's like a very like common look for people. So like if
I didn't realize that.
Like if you're drawn to it, like you were there at some point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It always just fascinates.
I miss out again.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm sure I'm some more supreme being.
You'll be somewhere, something.
I'm just joking.
I love it. What's your sun, moon, and rising sign?
So my sun is Aquarius. My moon is Sagittarius, which is why I'm like such a fiery bitch sometimes. And my rising is Leo, which is why I'm a though.
Aren't you
Me too.
rising twins? Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
we
both
are.
rising
I'm a
twins.
Leo rising as well.
So you're rising twins with Vicky, and you're also
Yeah.
moon twins with my husband.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
So-
My husband is a Sag sun and moon.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, double.
But it's so funny because he's like the least fiery person. He's a Libra rising, so he presents
Yeah, it's very
like the most even keel person.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, whereas my husband's a Capricorn sun. He's a Libra rising and a Sag moon. So it's like
that's-
he's usually very level-headed, very quick-witted,
yeah.
but then when he's emotional, he's just like, just fucking burn everything. Like,
Just burn it all.
awesome.
Awesome. Next one, your favorite tarot card.
ooh,
It's a hard one.
It's
Not
like
for
the
me.
card itself.
I know it's not for you. Yeah, for yourself.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard, isn't it?
I actually don't read tarot. I'm trying to think of like.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
I have a deck. I don't read tarot. I do oracle deck.
Oh, I thought you
But
had done tarot.
Hold on, I have one right in front of me, so I'm gonna pull one. Or is this tarot, or is this? Yeah. Isn't there one that's like the priestess? Or
Yep,
like
the high priestess.
The high priestess. So that's the first one that
Yeah.
came to mind. So I
was
think
gonna say you've got the high. Yeah, that's perfect.
You're definitely the high priestess in my eyes. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
okay.
I was gonna say you've definitely got the high priestess vibe. Perfect.
Good.
And what's your favorite book?
Oh my gosh.
That's a hard one.
It is because there's so many, but like one that
Yeah.
like
Or
a
maybe
little-
like the biggest standout for you. That's
yeah. So I
helped
feel like
a
this
lot.
one is kind of like a bit of like a beginner vibe, like for people
Yeah.
who are kind of starting on their journey, but it's still a book that I recommend to everyone. Is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks.
Oh.
It's about self-sabotage, and it like identifies
Ah.
the kind of like 4 main fears that like any self-sabotage boils down to like one of these 4 fears. Like one of them is fear of failure.
Yeah.
One of them is a fear of being fundamentally flawed.
Mhm.
One of them is a fear of outshining other people. And the other one is a fear of, what is it? I can't remember how he words it, but it's basically the fear of losing yourself.
Mhm.
So those, so it's just like very interesting. And for people who like tend to self-sabotage, like it's like doesn't give you like, here are the tangible tips, which I kind of like, because with anything it's just about awareness. So just gives you that split second to be like, oh yeah, this is that fear. I didn't realize I had that fear. You know, like for me, I was like, oh, I never thought I worried about unshining people. I love outshining people. Sometimes that'll pop up and I'll be like, oh, interesting. So I do have that fear. So I just love that book. Another one that I actually just read that I really loved as well is called Intimate Communion. David something, but he also wrote The Way of the Superior Man. But it's about relationships and about like the balance of masculine and feminine energies within a relationship, and like how to identify like your core energy center. And it talks about like sex as well, and like how if you settle into your core essence, your core soul's essence, and your partner settles into their core soul's essence, how to like make them work together. Because it talks about, they call it like sexual polarity. So how to like make sure that your energies are like matching up in the way that both of you want them to. And it's just like so interesting. I really loved it.
Yeah, they're really good. I'm just making sure that I write these
I'm
down.
going to write these down when I really
I was about to say,
like,
really listen, I'll write these down.
Do you know, I was half expecting, only because I've known you for quite a while now, I was half expecting it to be something like complete, like, I don't know, astrophysics or quantum physics or something, like really like way out there. I would be like,
you know what? I am like not a facts person. I'm a concepts person. Like I don't give a stat or a fact. Like I want a theory, and I want to like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. Like I tried to read like Dr. Joe Dispenza like 10 times, and I'm just like, I can't. Like someone is like, I'll even tell like my friend, I'm like, you read it, and then
give me the cliff notes.
Give me the cliff notes. That's all I want. Yeah.
That's what my husband does to me, because I've got like the front room is like rightly named the library. Yeah. And we have so many books, and he buys books, but he never reads because he doesn't read. Like he can, but he just doesn't like reading. But he's like, oh, I like the sound of this book. Can you read it and just tell me what it's about? Yeah. Like I don't have anything better to do. Like,
that's right. I've got my own shelves that I need to read.
I've got my own 50,000 books that I haven't, that I've bought, and I feel like if I buy them, that I can absorb the energy. Like,
I know, it's just like, can I just scoop it in?
I know. Why do they have to be so long?
I know. I agree. All right, the last one. Guilty pleasure that people think spiritual people don't do.
Everything that I do. I don't know. I probably drank like 12 alcohol drinks in one day on my birthday. Is it the best thing? No, but like, do I balance it out with like other really good things? Yeah. So I would say the quantity of wine consumption is like.
I think that's good. Like, my husband and I are massive winos, so like, I get it.
I was like, it's not even like unspiritual. It's like unhuman. The amount.
That's right. It's just a general all around.
General, like, what the fuck from like anyone.
It's so funny because here in Melbourne, when we went into lockdown, like actual hardcore lockdown for almost 9 months, and when everyone else was lining up at the grocery store to get groceries, my husband and I went to the liquor store to stock up on wine.
Yes. Well, what sucked for us was that there's like delivery, like, you know, like Uber. Do you guys have Uber?
Yeah.
And like Uber Eats alcohol, and we're like, they're making it way too damn easy. Once you finish your second bottle, it's just way too easy to
just get bing, 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 yay.
Yeah, it's like we need to like delete the app after like the first bottle or something. Like,
yeah. I totally relate to that. And see, this is like why. So in Okanagan is actually one of my favorite wine regions. I freaking love Okanagan wines.
When did you go there?
We haven't actually been to the region, but when we were in BC, we were buying a lot of Okanagan wines because you know how there's in the liquor store, I don't remember what it's called, but they have that section which is like the award-winning kind of provincial wines or whatever it is, like BCP or whatever wines, like, you know, so it's like, you know, and so every wine bottle that we tried, because I mean, while we're in Canada, we literally went through and let's try this one, let's try this one, let's try this one, like trying a different one every day. And all of our favorite ones happen to all come from Okanagan.
Yes.
So now we want to go.
Our goal this year is to buy a house in Okanagan.
Oh, wow.
So
it's like a 5-hour drive, 4 or 5 hours, depending what city, but they've got like the best golf courses. The Okanagan is a lake. So it's like called like the Okanagan Lake. And it's like the biggest lake in BC. So you like everyone's boating, like drinking on the boat.
I was gonna say,
going to the wineries, playing golf. It's like a lot of my grandparents and my aunt and uncle, and actually my mom lives pretty close to there as well. So we're like always there in the summer, and I'm like, I want like a sick lake house and just to like be on the boat.
Yeah. Like, and this is the thing.
Have your own little jetty, and then you can just go to your own little boat, and off you go.
Yes,
and like so
now that we can't travel, like this was like we just decided this like last year. Like it was never really like in the plans or something. But like I feel like 2020 made us realize what we actually cared about. It's like I could like go like bounce around to all these places. I don't plan on traveling. I mean, I don't know you guys' views on this. I don't plan on getting the vaccine. So I know I'm not going to be able to travel anymore. So it's like, I am like, we're like, if we're like going to be here, like, let's make the most of it. And like, like it's basically the desert. So BC is actually one of the few places in the world that has like different ecosystems. So we have we have desert and we have rainforest.
Really?
So,
I didn't know that.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, no, I actually say
I've always wanted to.
I've heard stories because, like, growing up in Melbourne, I had shout out to the Files twins. So they're the twins that were originally from Vancouver. They grew up in Melbourne. Then after high school, they went back to Canada. And one of my friends is actually in the Vancouver Police Department now, and his brother works for Air Canada. So like, anyway. being from BC, when I went over to visit them, their mum used to always tell me here in Melbourne, like, oh, like British Columbia is God's country. And I thought it's just one of those catch-all phrases until I went there. And my husband and I drove up through North Vancouver up to Squamish.
Oh yeah.
And there's that gondola that you can take to the top of the mountain. And oh my God, Vicky, like, I don't want to give you FOMO, but it's just, when you're up in the mountain and you just see like, it's like, you've got the massive, almost like fjords with the water, like between the mountain peaks. And then you've got these snow-capped mountains, blue skies. It's just, it's delish. Anyway, I'm going to stop.
Vicky can be jealous because she was out in Lemuria and you weren't.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. Nice. Thanks for that. Okay, so regrouping a little, because Vicky will be like, time conscious. I'm the Gemini, like, you know. So so I wanted to. So this is now something. It's a little bit of an interesting question for you, but because obviously we are witching and bitching. Yeah. Now, a lot of people, because I know your story and the things that you're into and the guests that you bring on your show, a lot of us in the witchy community will look at that. We're like, oh, is she a witch? Is she not a witch? You often do things that are considered very witchy, like having an altar, drawing oracle cards, being very much into your chakras and doing meditation. And like, these are all things that witches do. Yeah. Have you ever used that word or dabbled in witchcraft or any of that stuff? Like,
so I was actually obsessed with childhood. Like, it was like kind of concerning for my parents. I feel like I would go to the library and check out like any book about witches, witchcraft. And I always felt like just so I was a witch like every year for Halloween. I was just like so drawn to it. And then I started getting into astrology when I was little. And then it just, you know, you find boys and sports and whatever.
It all goes on the back burner for a little while.
Exactly. So when I started this work up again, I didn't really use that term, but I mean, it definitely is like, it's similar. Like for me, I typically use the term light worker, but like you said, like so much of the stuff that I do is that like witchy vibe for sure. And I definitely do a lot of bitchin'. So
I love it. So like then unpacking your spiritual path, what would you say would be your, like, how would you label your spiritual path, for lack of a better word, or how would you define it? Like, what is your spiritual practice like?
You know, I actually loved this. I had a reading. I shout out to Nikki Novo. It's like NIKKINO, I think VVO, or maybe it's just one B. I don't know. But she did a reading for me today, and I love the word that she used. She basically said, like, your purpose is and always has been and always will be to be a disruptor. To like look at the boxes that people are in and to disrupt that. And she said, by virtue of you just being you, that will disrupt other people's energy, and they'll be like, well, I thought I had to be this way, but then they'll see you being all the things and they'll realize that they can get out of that box. So I feel like that's always what it's been for me, was that when I started this journey was I was like, well, I don't fit in with the yoga girls. And, you know, I feel like I almost felt like judged. Like I call it spiritual clout. Like some people have this like holier than thou thing, which obviously comes from like pain, fear, anger. But when they present it as, I'm more spiritual, I'm whatever, I just like that, like right away, I was like, I want to disrupt that. So that was kind of also was why I kind of started doing it, was that when I started going on my own journey, I didn't find any healers, light workers, witches that I resonated with. Like, you have to think, this was like 5 years ago, even more, like I would say like 8 years ago, because I tried starting my business for like 3 years, but there just wasn't really anyone cool out there. Like you go to YouTube and you're like looking at meditations and it's some like old man in India and you're like, okay, like he doesn't get it, like he doesn't have hangover anxiety, he doesn't understand me, so you just like don't feel like there's room for you. I'm like, I'm gonna carve my own path, and that's it. Disruption. That's the vibe.
I love it. It's such a good place to be. But with that, how you were saying like your journey and things like that, what is your, for want of a better word, your origin story, for want of a better thing, but how did you come to the chakras and find that path?
So I always say, like many of us, a hot mess in my 20s, and I was
guilty.
Yes. Yep.
like dating all the wrong people, not taking care of
Yes.
my body, not taking care of my money, working at, a job, getting all the wrong validation. And I started doing yoga just because I was like, I gotta like shed some party pounds. Like, and my friend was like, oh, hot yoga, you can lose 5 pounds in like a week. I'm like, done, sign me up. But as we know, yoga is a gateway drug, and it like makes us actually slow down and connect with ourselves, which I had never done. And I realized in one of the, I was late for a yoga class one day, and I had to go to a meditation class, and I asked the receptionist, I was like, well, will meditation make me lose weight? And she was like, eventually. I was like, okay. So I went to the class, and I realized,
oh my God, I love you.
and I was like, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I was like, okay, like I cannot sit still. I was the only person like opening my eyes and like looking around and like constantly like fixing my clothes and looking in the mirror. And like one thing that I noticed was that I had this like giant lump in my throat, like, and I was like swallowing like every 2 seconds, like, and like clearing my throat. And my friend actually told me a few times, she's like, you always like she's like, you're always doing that, like this weird throat clearing thing. And I was like, I don't do that. I do notice I still do it sometimes. And that's what I know I need to work on my throat chakra. But so I asked the teacher after class, and I was like, what? I was like, I have this like weird lump in my throat. Like, what does that mean? And she was like, well, it could be your throat chakra. And I'd kind of like heard yoga teachers talking about it before, but I really didn't know much about it. But I started just like researching it and being like, how to clear throat chakra. And I bought some crystals, and I found some meditations, and I was like, okay, I'm like going to dedicate 2 weeks to like just doing this. And I had never had like a consistent ritual or anything like that before, but I was like, I'm going to do it just twice a day for 2 days. Like when I wake up, when I go to bed, I'm going to do this meditation, put the crystal in my throat. And within 2 weeks, totally gone. Like, totally gone. I felt like a completely different person. And I was like, why does no one talk about this? Why didn't I know about this before? Like, how did I not know? And then I was like, what else can I fix? And I just got so like crazy excited about it. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna fix my sacral chakra. I'm gonna fix this. And I just like slowly worked on all of them. And I was like, I need to tell people about this. Like, why did none of my friends know this? Like, why is no one cool talking about this? Like, why is there no one out there that is like making this fun? Because it's fun. Like, it's cool. Like, you're literally like, I'm fucking magic. Like, I am literally magic. Like, I use a rock clear to like, I just blew my mind. I didn't know anything like this. And I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that this was a whole thing. So anyways, so I wanted to create a crystal and gemstone jewelry line to help women balance their chakras. Because I was like that. I had gone to school for fashion. So I was like, okay, this is the way to kind of combine.
Bring it all in
Bring
together.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was fun. Like I had like a hangover bracelet, and I had like a shopaholic bracelet and stuff like that, just like different problems to heal. And then I noticed that as I was putting this business out there, it really required me to like tap into all my chakras. Like when I was building the foundation of my business, I needed my root chakra energy. When I was building my brand, I needed my sacral chakra energy. So I was like, really going through it, as you guys know, like creating something, building something. There's a lot of like shit that comes up.
Oh yeah.
So I was kind of like, as I was going through that process, like clearing stuff as I went. And then what I found was once I launched and I was out there and I was talking about the business and everything, fewer people were interested in the jewelry than they were in understanding like how, I want to start a business. How did you unblock your chakras to start a business? Like, I'm so inspired that you like put this together. I have this business idea, but I have all these blocks. What crystal do I need? And I realized like there's this, huge community of women that don't know how to do this. And I didn't know how to have like a Fortune 500 company by any means, but I was like, I know how to start a business. and I know how to help people with the energy work to like build their website, to create their brand. So I started teaching people that, like how to clear your own chakras, and then also kind of like the strategy of how to like get your business started. And then like as I continued to learn more and more, then I could teach more. So I was like, okay, before I was really only teaching how to like build your website and start your brand and like that kind of stuff. Then I was like, okay, now I know how to get your first few clients. So I'm gonna start teaching people that. Now I know how to have a 10K month. So I'm gonna teach people that. Now I know, you know, so it's like as I learned more, I just started like adding in more things because I was like the ultimate guinea pig for all of it, right? You know, these are the rituals I'm doing, these are the meditations, these are the crystals I'm using, these are the journaling prompts I'm using, and this is what I've been able to do with it. Now I can teach other people how to do that. So yeah, that's how it all started.
I love that.
Amazing. I love it.
And I was actually going to, like, you touched on something very interesting. And this is why, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on the show when I was talking about it with Vicky, because like I have been plugging your podcast to my tarot students.
Yes.
Like I'm pretty sure in Vicky's class alone, I'm like, guys, this is another funny episode. It was like so awesome. It was with Chakra Girl Radio. They're like, who is this Chakra Girl that you keep talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, she's my friend in British Columbia and she's amazing. They're like, and then so I got them all onto it. This is before I even thought of this idea to do a podcast. And then I'm like, hey, who else can I bring on the show but you? Because, you know, you're already a podcaster and everything. But no, so one of the things I wanted to bring you on the show for is because of the fact that a lot of people in the spiritual community think that charging money or running a business makes me less spiritual. Or they try to do this thing where they justify to themselves that, oh, I'll do a reading for you and you can do a healing for me. They feel like they have to barter, trade services rather than receiving money because they have these bullshit beliefs about money and abundance. And they think that it's like, it makes you less spiritual and stuff. Whereas what I love about you is and look, I'm not going to offend. I'm just going to say it how it comes out. And then I'm sure you're going to, you know what I'm saying when I say this, but like, when people will see you living the Gucci Prada lifestyle and like the hair's perfect, makeup's perfect, all that kind of stuff, walking in your nice high heel shoes, it's very easy for people to dismiss you as having any form of spiritual practice because they'll just judge you on face value. But then on the opposite side, when spiritual people and you rock up wearing the things that you wear and living the lifestyle you live, and they're like, oh, like, you know, it's like this whole dichotomy of material people think you can't be spiritual and spiritual people think you can't be material, but you're like literally in the middle lane going, you can have it all.
You can have both. Why not both?
Yeah. So it's like, how did you find that balance or that niche? Because this is what makes you, right?
Yeah. So like the reason that I can, I don't want to use the word no because I think truth is such a fluid thing. Yeah. But the reason why I feel that these people that are judging is from the only reason anyone judges anyone for anything is from a place of fear. Right. So if someone's saying that person isn't spiritual, then I'm like, judging isn't spiritual. So,
I love it.
It's like the ultimate clapback.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing. For me, for my clients, in the work that I've done, my truth in my reality that I've witnessed is that when we change our frequency, when we elevate our frequency, I have assigned a high vibrational energy to designer things because I think they're beautiful and I think they're great. So I've always had to me, that is a high vibrational thing. So when my vibration rises, I naturally become a magnet to those things. Yeah. So I too used to pretend that Louis Vuitton was ugly. Like, ugh, who wants a brown purse? Like, literally, I used to say that because I was like, I thought I couldn't have it. And I thought, when someone has something that you want, that you think you'll never get, it's so much easier how did I say this the other day that I was like, it was so good. Oh, I was like, it's so much easier to assign blame than to feel your own shame. And that is like, right? Yeah. So it's like, we know this, like, if you boil spirituality down to the core, It's choosing love over fear, pain, whatever. So it's like, if you know judgment comes from fear and pain, I'm over here just loving myself and loving my life and like living a higher frequency and attracting those things, then that's the reality that I've created. So if someone has assigned a negative vibration to those things, and every time they see it, they feel angry and they feel these low vibrations, it's going to keep them in a low vibration, and they're never going to attract things that they do even assign a high vibration to. But yeah, it's like they're creating their own reality. Like we all create our own reality. I always say, like, we think like the way that school teaches us is that we, you know, there's this big earth out there, and then our eyes see it, and then there's receptors in our brains that like make sense of it. But I think it's I think it's the opposite. I think it's that we see life in our brains, and then we see it in our third eye chakra, and then our eyes are actual like projections into like this big projection screen that creates the life we want to see. Exactly. So if the life you want to see is full of like judgment and anger and assigning a low vibration to things just because of your own pain and fear, like that doesn't sound like where I want to be. Like, so maybe your idea of a high vibrational existence has nothing to do with designer bags. Maybe you want to live on a farm and, like I said, like have a boat and like, get something totally different. And that's fine. You'll get that as long as you're not putting down someone else's version of it.
Exactly. And this is the thing, like I always say, like, because being a coach as well, like I talk to people about the fact that our brain wants to be right all the time, and it has this thing called confirmation bias. So we talked about in our affirmation episode, we've talked about in our setting intentions episode, like as soon as you wake up in the morning and say today's gonna be a shit day, your brain is literally looking for every example to confirm that that is your reality. And then that's just, so when we say law of attraction, you're attracting that. It's not that the good examples aren't there, it's that you're not seeing them because of the filter that you're looking at the world through. So it makes total sense.
It
like,
does.
You're speaking our lingo. Like I love
that's like perfectly said.
This is what I mean. So well, Vicky, did you want to take the next question?
Yes, I can.
That's my like very very not subtle segue.
I was gonna say.
I'm looking at the question list. I'm like, it's Vicky's turn.
It's fine. Okay. No worries. Well, the other thing we did want to talk about as well, because you're very much about women's empowerment, and even in the bio, when Darren was saying about bringing people up rather than tearing each other down. And I think that that's something that not only within, say, women sort of in the community, but also within the witchy community or the spiritual community and different things like that, is very much this kind of attitude of, to be able to get up, we need to tear everybody else down. And I love that everything that you're about is about that empowerment,
lifting vibration,
lifting people up. Yeah, that's it. So I was just wanting to chat about that a little bit, and like where that sort of came from and why that's so important for you. And
I mean, if you think about like in thinking about like collective energy, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Some people say God, some people say source, some people say spirit.
Yep.
Some people say the universe. Like
I say all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Depending on my mood.
Exactly. So like it's an energy that unites us all. And if I want to rise up, I can't do that alone. Like it's like we need to like be, it's like it's literally an energetic connection that connects us to the mailman, to each other, to our husband, to people across the world. Like we're all connected. So in order for your life to change, you need to be changing the frequency of other people. And in order for other people to change, you have to be changing your own frequency. So it's like, as you heal yourself, it heals the people around you. Like we are all quantum beings. Like it's not just linear. Like it's not just me and my energy. It's like we are all connected. So when we, I don't want to say especially women, but
I know,
women,
but it often is. But that's the thing. It often is,
because women are the creators of frequency. So when women get together, we create. The word like silo is coming up for me. It's almost like I just picture like all these women like holding hands and like rising up this like pillar of light. But then anyone that is in, you know, in the circle, or anyone that's like around the circle is also
in that vicinity. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've seen it in myself. Like I get so many people asking me like, oh, like my husband or my boyfriend or my partner is not spiritual. Like, what do I do? Like, he won't even meditate. He won't do this, or she won't do that. And it's just like, when you commit to your own growth, like I said, the people around you will either rise up or they'll fall down. If they fall down, then it was never meant for you. But
yeah,
from what I've seen, like, because we have this quantum energy, as we rise up, everyone around us rises up anyways. So it's like, we can't put the onus on other people. We can only control what we can control.
Yeah.
So another funny thing about the coaching industry is like, there's this interesting kind of like stigma of like, well, coaches shouldn't be telling people that they can't do it without them. And like, I agree. I don't think people should be saying you can't do this without me. But there is like, you know, energetic, like from the energetic laws, it is true that this collective energy and joint energy and having support as you rise up really is a powerful thing, as long as you're both doing your work. So I mean, I don't know the scientific terms, but
I know that the term that's coming to my mind, I don't know if this is where you're touching on this, but like, it comes up for me is the power of proximity. Like, you're surrounding yourself with the people that you want to vibrate at their level or vibe at their level. And then like, I've often joke about it, saying like, just to think about they say that you're the average of the 5 closest people to you. So if you look at the 5 closest friends, are they lifting you up or are they tearing you down? Like, and how comfortable are you with that?
And like, to think of like a linear example too, like think of, and I think Jay-Z like said some kind of quote about this. I can't remember what it was, but it was basically like, like, my success on my own is nothing as it is compared to me and the other people that I'm coming up with. So it's like, bringing other people up is what makes you successful. It's not just you going up by yourself. And like, it's lonely at the top, like, bring people with you.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
You know?
And that's what I think. Do you think that a lot of in society, I guess, we've kind of had that disconnection a little bit from other people or our own thing, and that it's about bringing that connection back to others? That yeah.
Well, I guess it's one of the reasons why we started this podcast, because it's like, I've been working on my spiritual self for at least 20 years, and it's just like, and then when you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, well, what's the point? If I'm vibing at a high vibe and everyone else around me isn't, then like, you guys are poo-pooing on my parade, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, so
I want someone to party with here.
Yeah, right. And then so we just, like, Vicky and I literally started this podcast just for fun. I'm pretty sure I even messaged you the day that we started it, saying, hey, we're starting a podcast, like, you want to be on the show? And like, it was all about just us two vibing with each other and then sharing some thoughts with the community. And then like, we didn't even know, it could have flopped after a week. We didn't know. But now, like, in the space of 4 months, like, we've got a really solid listener base. We're starting to expand. We're all over the Americas, over the UK. Thank you, Kyle Gray, for plugging us in the UK, because now we've boosted our UK viewer audience. But we're still waiting on the day that we get a stat saying that we've now got a listener in one of the other planets.
Yes, it's coming.
I'm waiting for it to say, like, I'm going to die a little on the inside, but like, I want that to be like that, even if it's 0.01% of our listener base is in another planet.
Something just goes up, I think.
But I'm big Palladians.
That's it.
Well, actually, we found out, like, this is just like sidetracking a little bit, but we found out we're actually pretty big in Texas.
Yeah.
I know they say everything's bigger in Texas, but I wouldn't have thought that a Witchin and Bitchin podcast would have been
in Texas.
Funny. I almost feel like the kind of like, they would be considered Midwest, right?
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
I don't know.
Midwest or Southern. I don't know.
Southern.
Right? But it's like, I feel like because those people are like late to the game. Like, they're kind of like on that, in like that searching phase.
Yeah.
So kind of noticed too, like, at first when I first started my business, it was like LA. And then slowly New York became more popular for me than LA, because I was like, oh, they're like, those people in LA are like, this shit's old news, honey.
We'll be doing this now.
And the New Yorkers are like, they've like finally put their like coffee down, and they're like, hey, wait, what?
No, they put their coffee and bagel down, and they're paying attention.
Exactly.
Paying attention now.
Yeah, no, I love it. But so I actually wanted to now, like, this is a little bit of a plug for you. But so I know that the latest thing that you're focusing on at the moment is your goddess magnetism. So I know there's a little short quiz that you can do, which Vic and I have both done. We'll talk about that in a moment. But did you want to tell our listeners a little bit about this goddess magnetism, like living your best 5D goddess life?
Yes. So do you guys talk about like third dimensional, fourth dimensional, 5-dimensional?
Yep.
We've touched on quantum a little bit, just because we're in the introductory phase of our podcast, but it is something that we're going to be talking like full. You go as hardcore as you want to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Go in.
Those who are woke are going to understand the lingo.
Yeah, perfect. So I mean, I've actually, since, just during 2020, I just went super deep, like in my own transformation, my own healing. And the thing that I felt so called to share with people is that we are multidimensional, and that there are other versions of our souls dancing around in other dimensions.
Yeah.
Simultaneously and separately at the same time. Like,
exactly. Like, so that our mind can't really even comprehend. But we have memories that can serve us here. So just reconnecting to these other versions of ourselves and pulling in what we can use here on earth to fulfill our purpose of this lifetime. So I am teaching people through a variety of different modalities, from like, out of body experiences, time traveling, astral traveling, connecting to your starseed being, Akashic records, like all the things, to teach people how to do it for themselves, and how to find those little codes and those little keys to unlock their own magnetism. So when I say goddess magnetism, I mean literally turning into a magnet for your purpose. And I always say our chakras are like GPS systems. They know exactly how to get to our purpose, but it's all clogged up and blocked up, and we forgot the key. So
damn it.
So it's like really, it's a big unlearning. It's like half part unlearning and then half part remembering. So that's been just super magical. And I know for myself, like in business, it's like you need like the strategy up until a certain point, and then after that, it's like the rest of this is all energy, right? Like the rest of this is all manifesting, being that magnet to the right opportunities, the right people, the right energy, the money, the right clients, the right, PR, whatever. That's what it's all about. So it's not only for people who have businesses. A lot of people are also remembering their purpose and remembering their healing. Like, hey, like, I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling super called to, learn how to play the crystal singing bowls and to heal people and to heal myself doing this. Like, and then they have an idea to start a business. So it's a lot of it is just remembering these past gifts and using them to heal yourself. And then that often activates some kind of like deeper purpose or desire to heal other people. And I really do feel like maybe not everyone, but every like 5-dimensional being, or anyone who feels called to this kind of work, certainly anyone listening to this podcast has a purpose to serve. And typically people that are into this work are also people who've gone through a lot of initiation. So you probably had those dark days, you've had those things happen to you, and you learned from them, you've grown from them, you've expanded, and that happened for a reason, so that you could remember some of these tools, and so that you can then pass them on, because we're all here to help everyone, again, the collective energy to rise up and to ascend. So that's an important part of it as well, is just like helping people remember why they're here, and how all of us coming together and finding these keys and these codes is gonna help the world, really.
And I love everything about that. Like you've just articulated it so well. And this is why I wanted to ask you the whole thing about, like, because what you do is a little bit witchy, because like all the things that you talk about and the language you use and all of these things, it's like, it's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
we just call them different things, you know, which is so cool. Like, it's just obviously a different spin on things. But like, so for people who want to do the quiz to find out what type of goddess energy they're working with, they can head over to quiz.chakragirlco.com/goddess. And you can check out a quiz. It's not a very long quiz. It's only about, I think, 10 or 12 questions.
Yeah.
And it's going to tell you about the energy or the goddess energy that you're working with. So we've both done it. I'm not missing out this time, even though it's a goddess.
No.
I have an inner goddess too, bitches. Like,
it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
What did you guys get on the quiz?
You go first, Vicky.
Okay, I got the energy healer goddess.
Yeah, I get that vibe for sure.
Okay, so what vibe do you get off me?
I think from you, I think I get the motivational.
Oh, no, I didn't. Yes. I actually got the shadow healer.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that. I was going to say, do you have like any Scorpio in your chart?
Lots of it.
Okay, because I feel like you have like the perfect amount of it. Too much Scorpio.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I was going to say I could kind of get that vibe too, but yeah, I like that. I'm
pretty sure I'm a Cancer Sun, Capricorn Rising, Libra Moon, but then I think I have Mercury and Venus are both in Cancer as well. Like I'm so much water, it's not funny.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure I've got Jupiter and Saturn, I think, are both in Scorpio. And then I think I've got the outer planets in Sag, but that's like a generational thing. Like most people my age have those in Sag because that's that time of year.
They take a lot longer.
So like I don't know if you're familiar with Colin Bedell, but he's actually the astrologer for cosmopolitan.com.
Oh, Colin,
yeah. So we had Colin on our show actually, and he was talking about all that, and he turned around and said to me, he's like, "Oh, honey, you were not put on this earth to make anyone feel comfortable." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, and it's like he was talking into my soul.
Yeah, that's
and I was like, holy shit balls! Like, it was just like, And then Vicky even said, "You're going a little bit red." I'm like, I feel like he's reading me for filth, but I'm kind of loving it at the same time. Like, he'd be totally your vibe.
Yes.
I know. I thought I met him, but no, I haven't met him. But he's good friends with my friend Gala Darling. So.
Oh wow, yeah, because I know he does a lot of work with the Astro Twins. You'd probably be more familiar with them.
Yeah, I've had one of the twins on my podcast as well.
Yeah.
Vicky, so wait, firstly, Darren, my best friend is a Cancer Sun, Libra Moon as well. So that's why we talk so well together. Vicky, what were yours?
So I'm a Gemini Sun, Aquarius Moon, and a Leo Rising.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Love.
So your Moon and your Sun, and you're both the same rising, like.
Yeah.
I know. I actually loved. Like, I was listening to one of your recent episodes with Jen Sincero. Yeah. So Sincero, sorry. And I remember when you were saying, and I think you were talking to her about the fact that being an Aquarius, like people just, and like it's the same thing with you, Vicky. Like everyone thinks air signs. Oh, emotions. What are they? Like,
that's it.
It's not like you guys don't feel. You just don't feel the need to express. It's like
that's right. To share them. Yeah,
that's right.
Whereas I'm like Cancer Sun, and I've got like so much Cancer and Scorpio, and I think even my Lilith is in Pisces. Like I'm all water.
Everywhere.
A lot of crying. There's a lot of
it's
crying.
Like double spits and easy fits and everything. And
I'm like shocked when I cry. I usually only cry when I'm really mad.
So do I.
I don't really cry when I'm sad, or like I definitely don't happy cry. Like when someone happy cries, I'm like, that's weird. Like
I know. It's like just laugh.
I could never.
Smile.
Like, I think like I cried at my wedding because I was happy.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But I also missed my dog, so it could have been that.
Oh, absolutely.
I was about to say, I cry more when things that happen to animals or things that happen on TV.
Yes.
But not real life stuff.
Yes. I could cry at like a commercial or like if a dog is sick, 100%. But like, I'm like, humans, you can handle your own shit.
That's it. Sort it out. You don't need to be sharing.
Wipe those tears and sort it out.
It's like, I remember I told Colin there was a phrase that we use in Australia, which is like when, like, I feel like this is suitable for you guys. It's like, have a cup of concrete and harden the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I like that.
Because it's a very Australian thing to say, like, have a cup of concrete and harden the fuck up. But on that note, do we want to give a little shout out to Samson? I know he's not going to watch the show. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he could also, we could link his Instagram in the show notes.
Oh yes, let's do that.
Yes.
For anyone listening, if
Definitely.
you go to samson.in.the.city, so Samson in the city with dots in between the words.
Yeah.
So he's a gorgeous Samoyed. And see, this is the thing, like when I found out you had a Samoyed, I died on the inside because my Samoyed, when I had a dog when I was growing up and it was a Samoyed too. And her name was, it's an Aboriginal word, Kawinda, which means bright morning star, because she used to like bark incessantly when the sun came up and just like, and it's like, shut up. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But it's
like, the sun's up, feed me, bitch. Like,
I was gonna say, it's usually the servant part, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like for my dog, it's when he wants peanut butter. He has like a severe addiction. Like we had to cut him off because it was getting insane. Like like they have like the Kong, like the
Kong, put it inside and
he'll pick it up with his mouth and throw it at me with his mouth. I'm like, oh my, and like not like soft. Like I'm like, you have a problem, junkie, and you need to stop.
Calm down.
Oh my god, I would pay to watch a channel which is just the interactions of you with Samson.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's
like that would just be like Entertainment Plus. I'd be sitting with my popcorn. To me, that's better than watching the Kardashians. I know you're a fan, but like to me, that's way better. Watching you. Like just watching you walk down the street and then Samson just throwing his Kong at you saying, I want some peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
He's wildly embarrassing, but you gotta love it. So it's like my husband and my husband's daughter that run the Instagram page. So like there'll be like dirty socks on the floor. I'm like, or you'll see like me in the background, like wearing sweatpants, like watching TV. I'm like, why would you post that? Like, so
because this is
like, you've got to be aware. That's right. You've got to be aware of the things.
It's like this is Samson's channel, so he can have whatever photos he wants.
Exactly. I know.
It's so funny, like, but I just love it because, like, this is the thing with you, like, you even though like you live the glamour lifestyle, but you are super real as fuck. Like, you know, this is the thing, like, it's amazing. No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. You are what you get, and I love it because it's just like authenticity plus. Yeah. But it's been absolutely wonderful having you on the show.
It really has.
I seriously feel like we literally, as much as it's a tagline, I feel like we have just been catched up with our spiritual BFF. Like,
that's right.
we could talk some shit, but we could also talk about the quantum field.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're in the same place. I love it.
So when I do make it back to Canada, because it's going to happen, I will absolutely be hooking up with you to like catch up and like we could go to the Okanagan together.
Oh,
literally, and like maybe I'll have like a chic lake house mansion and a boat.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm going to be living my best life.
We're manifesting it.
Yeah, done. I'm going to start my altars right here. I'm going to start putting pictures above the altar. Let's bring that shit in. Like, it's almost like, wait, so I actually got super addicted to the Real Housewives of Toronto. What's that lake near Toronto that they go to?
There's a Real Housewives of Toronto?
Have you not seen it?
I didn't know that.
No.
Oh my god, there's also a Real Housewives of Vancouver. How have you not
seen?
You haven't seen the Toronto one?
No, I wonder if it's on Hayu. Do you guys have Hayu?
No.
Okay.
I can't even remember where I watched it.
Netflix of reality shows. It's like all reality shows, basically.
That's my guilty pleasure. I didn't answer the questions before, but like my guilty pleasure is actually like watching reality TV. I fucking love it.
Are you watching Salt Lake City?
No, I see the ones I like the ones that are obscure. I'm not into the OC. I'm not into like New York. I'm not into Atlanta.
I just started OC and I love it. So I was only Beverly Hills, New York, and like obsessed. But I just started watching OC, and I started Salt Lake City because it's brand new, and I got to support the franchise. So I'm loving Salt Lake City.
So my favorite ones have been, I love watching Dallas.
Hey, I can't with those Dallas girls like burping and farting all the time.
Because they're just so, I'm a Southern belle. And then they're just like doing that shit. And I'm like, oh my God. So that means, have you seen Melbourne and Sydney?
No. Okay, are those ones good?
I love Melbourne. And I actually got to meet one of the housewives on my, you'd call it probably a stag do. like a bucks. We call it a bucks night, so stag do. So I actually met one of the housewives. She was like coming out of her place as I was walking in. I'm like, oh my god, can I take a photo? Like, it was one of those moments. But like, yeah, I'm not one for the big ones. I like watching Auckland, which is like the New Zealand one. Melbourne and Sydney. I prefer Melbourne over Sydney. No offense, Sydney, but that's also because Melbourne and Sydney, we have like this pretend rivalry thing. Yeah. We don't really hate each other, but we pretend to hate each other.
Yeah. I feel like the US does that with Canada. Like, they make fun of Canada all the time, but like in like a light-hearted way. But it's fine because we know we're better than them. So.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm a little biased too, because like I mean, shout out to our American listeners. I'm not dissing you guys, but we Australians and Canadians, we have so much in common because we come from a very, like, culturally we're similar, our history is similar, we're both colonial places that, you know, governed by England, blah 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 blah. We have a very similar I mean, we have a bit of a dark past too. We both have a very similar treatment of Indigenous people, but it's a process to do that healing. But like we've got just a lot of similarities between the two countries. Like that's why Canadians and us just get along like this.
Yeah, I just went to Whistler and it's like all Australian.
Oh, I've heard it that you guys call it.
Really?
Apparently, I was told by Canadians they call it Wistralia.
Yeah.
Because it's just
like all Australians. Yeah.
It's awesome. But no, you have to watch Housewives of Toronto because it's like they do what the BC people don't do. They do that like, let's go outside.
Oh,
in the boot. Everything's out in the boot.
Like the what do you call it? Like, I'm trying to picture like a compass right now. North. It's like that that northeast kind of Canadian kind of northeast kind of thing.
Sure. So like definitely the further east you go, the more outside everyone goes. Yeah. Whereas West Coast, they're like West Coast kind of is like, what's up with your accent? Like, no, I love it. Anyway, I could keep gossiping and chatting some shit with you all day, but thank you once again for coming on our show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
So everyone, will be popping some links in the bio, but you can go to chakragirlco.com. Otherwise, you can follow her on Instagram, Chakra Girl Co, samson.in.thus.city. But yeah, so absolutely check it out. And also the other thing is, if you do follow, like, Amber Lee actually has a lot of, like, you run a lot of like free intro classes to the chakras as well as to business. Like, you do a lot of free stuff. So I mean, if people want to sign up to your courses, even better. But even if you want to like get a taste,
go in and explore a little bit.
And GTV.
Yeah, because I absolutely love your what was it? It was the 5-day chakra cleanse, I think you called it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've done that a few times now, and I'm just hooked. Like, every time you do one, I'm like, I'm doing one again.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it because, like, especially that. I don't want to give too much away, but you kind of touched it before, the root chakra meditation with Sandalphon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like it. It's the only meditation I've ever done where I'm standing, and oh my god, it was like epic. I was literally talking about that for at least 3 weeks. I was banging on about this meditation I did with you as part of the 5-day cleanse. And like, oh my god, I want to do it. I'm like, oh, the 5-day cleanse is over. Sorry, you missed it.
Well, okay, so I will actually tell you something interesting. It's like BTS information it's fine. You guys can hear it. Whoever's listening, whatever. If you haven't turned it off yet, you deserve to hear this too. But what I was gonna say is that this reading that I had today with Nikki Novo, she was like, and I intuitively knew this as well, but she was like, your voice has healing frequencies in it. She's like, so you're meant to be like recording, like, she's like when you record a guided meditation, it is that, but it's actually so much more than that. It's like your frequency actually has the ability to deconstruct and re-piece together people's frequency. So there you go.
I can attest to that. Wow. Like, I've done the 5-day chakra cleanse, and it's like, this is the thing. I know about chakras. I've done chakra stuff so many times, but like, this is why I keep doing it again and again every time you put it up, because I'm like, hell yes, I'm doing that again. Like, because every time you do it, you find another layer and you find a new level of self. And like people say that, you know, coaches that they think that if I get coaching that one time and I'm going to find the root cause and then that's it, I'm done. But as spiritual beings, we know that every layer of the onion you peel back, there's another fucking layer.
I was going to say there's another one.
And then another layer. And then another layer.
Stuff.
And the deeper you go, the more deep-seated that shit is, and even harder it is to clear out because you're just going like shedding and shedding and shedding and shedding and shedding. But anyway, I'm gonna stop myself. Thank you once again. We're gonna pop the links in the bio. And thanks everyone for listening, and check us out again very, very soon.
Bye.